As someone that's only 25 years old, I've realized my first 5 years in my 20s were very tricky because we have two different types of perspectives. We're constantly trying to figure out which one is the right way to go. Like there's this, okay, we're young, we're turned, we're supposed to have fun, go to the club, do all this silliness, but then there's also we have to get our life together. We have to make sure we have all these things. We've got to grind. There's all these perspectives and things that are like against each other, like they're polar opposites, and we think we have to pick a side, and then we pick a side and we look at everybody who's doing the other one. It's like, what's wrong with them? They're wasting their time. And if we pick this side, what's wrong with them? They're not having fun. It's this, like, it's impossible to win, it feels like, in your early 20s. I've realized it's actually a little bit of both, and I've developed 12 different tips to be able to allow you to not only make the most of your 20s, but also enjoy it. Okay, I'm somebody, if you don't know me, I'm Jamar. I'm actually an inspirational speaker. I do what I love to do every single day, but I also have a lot of fun in my life. I don't just speak and do this stuff all the time, okay? I do other stuff that's not related to my career. I've figured out that it's all a balance, but it's not as simple as just balance. I'm gonna give you the tips to be able to create a life, build a life, and make decisions that allow you to actually maximize on your early 20s while still building to a life you actually want, okay? And I've done this in my life. I've created my own business while also building relationships, while also having these moments that I'll remember for the rest of my life of me doing, for lack of better words, stupid stuff, okay? And so I want to give you these 12 things. I'll also mix in some of my stories from my life to give you perspective. Feel free to put in the comments if you have any questions I'd like to get in the comments and engage with y'all. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. But without further ado, let's just get straight into it. So the first one, I have them written on my phone. I'll look back every single one. But I want to start off with my first tip to be counter to the norm, to really set the tone for the video. But this is what I want you to know. Rest, partying, what's the other one I have? And having fun is productive. So one side of the coin will tell you to have fun and do all this stuff, which is good advice to an extent. But then the other side will tell you not to have fun and to just grind it out because you have energy and put all your time into your work. What I've realized is neither is completely right. What I've realized, though, is what gets lost in this little, I don't know what the word is, it's in this little argument, is that these things are also productive, okay? What I've realized is that if you're not resting, if you aren't chilling a little bit, you don't have the energy to even be the best version of yourself when you are working. If you aren't partying, if you aren't having fun, one, you're not gonna have anything to look back on for the rest of your life and be like, yo, I had fun. But you're also not gonna be able to have all these ideas that come from having fun. What I've realized is that working hard is great, but without a great idea, you're missing out on massive progress, okay? Working hard is what people do when there's already idea. So when you work for somebody, you're basically working on their idea. Okay, ideas change the world, not working hard. But without working hard, you can't make an idea a reality. And so essentially, without ideas, there's no things that change the world. But without people working hard on the ideas never come to fruition. So we can't just work hard, we also have to have ideas, and ideas come from networking. Ideas come from being in a random scenario that you didn't know about. I can't tell you the amount of times I had game-changing ideas for my life when I was drunk at a party, when I was doing something stupid, when I was out with my friends in college. Like, all these things are super important, not to mention meeting new people, getting inspiration from different things. One thing I wrote for my Instagram not that long ago, to come out in an Instagram reel, one of my quotes, was that life is inspiration. You don't have to try to find it. It's always there, but you have to explore. You have to live. A lot of people aren't living; they're just working. So therefore, they never have any inspiration. They're wondering why they're not inspired. It's because they're not living. They're just working. Life isn't work. Life is life. Go life, and then work is part of that. Okay, and so it's super important that you understand resting, partying, having fun is productive. I can't tell you how many people I've met that are game-changing connections when I was out doing stupid stuff. Okay, I can't tell you how many times life is more than just work, okay? If you ever want to meet your girlfriend, your boyfriend, you got to go have fun. You can't just be in the office all the time. You can't just be working. You have to do all those things, but also going back to work, whatever you're doing, whether you're an entrepreneur, you're working. If you're doing these things, you will have inspiration for the job, okay? You have inspiration, different point of views. If you're always in the same scenario, if you're always in the same thing, you're never having inspiration that can inspire you to take 10 steps forward when you're just taking one step forward every day because you're just doing the same thing every day, okay? So you have to have ideas. Second one. Understand we are all lost. And who do I mean when I say all? I mean every single person on earth. One things I've realized in life, and I'm somebody that travels the country. My particular passion and like expertise is helping people find their passion, helping people create the life they're meant for. And I do this at high schools, colleges, conferences, all this stuff. And often what happens is I'm there to speak to the students, but then there'll be like this principal, this counselor in the back that tells me this life story about how they changed what they were doing at 45 years old, at 63. What I've learned is from doing and traveling the country and talking to all these different types of people is that everybody's figuring this thing out. And I think we think at 20, 21, 22, 23, we're supposed to have an apartment, have a steady career and income, and then have this selective group of friends that are day ones, and then also have our wife. We're all trying to figure this thing out, and nobody knows. What makes life beautiful is the fact that we don't know what's going on. And so instead of trying to figure it out, the way to figure out life is to understand that you'll never have it figured out, and just enjoy exploring the fact that you'll never understand it. What makes life beautiful, and I hope you're catching this game because it's very complicated, very philosophical, but what's beautiful about us as human beings on this earth is that everything's a question mark. We really don't know anything. You can see that as a negative, or you can see that as a positive, because now you realize the purpose of life is just to constantly explore. And so instead of being mad that you're lost, just constantly be surprised. When you're lost, you don't know what's coming next, okay? It's like watching a show and nobody spoiled it for you, okay? That's what life is. A lot of us were mad we don't know what the next episode is in the next episode, but life would be very boring if we knew what every single chapter, every single new episode was. When we start to realize that life is to be explored and to be clueless about it, and it allows us to be surprised, we can have fun with every cliffhanger and every new twist that happens in the story. You're living a dope story, but a lot of us, we mess up the story trying to make it predictable, but that's a horrible show. Understand we're all lost. And when you come to peace with that, it allows you to have the peace, it allows you to have the energy, it allows you to have the perspective to actually explore, and that's what allows you to actually know what the heck you even want to do with your life. So understand we're all lost. I don't know what I even want to get for lunch today. It's okay if you don't know what your career or your person is or whatever it may be. We all have our own timeline. And that brings me to my next one. Understand everyone's timeline is different. One of the things we do, especially in this age, we compare ourselves, especially because we have social media. You can literally see, like you can go on LinkedIn and see this person did this at 18, and then at 20 they moved to this job, and then like, we're constantly comparing ourselves, and we low-key pocket watching people. But what we have to realize, one, and I want to preface this, just because you can see someone's timeline and what the things they've achieved and the likes they get on Instagram, you don't know if they're actually happy. So someone can have all the things in the world, but you don't even know if they're happy. That's the real goal, okay? That's always the goal in my videos. We're trying to create a life that actually makes us happy, not just look happy. But beyond that, everybody's timeline, to whether it's getting a job, to starting a business, from finding what they love to do, from finding the person they love, from finding all these things, there's no like cookie cutter, you're supposed to have it at this age, it's all different. And sometimes you not having it is what allows you to appreciate it in the future when you actually get it. If you got it now, you wouldn't be able to appreciate it enough to actually keep it. For example, one of the things I talk about, again, I kind of already told y'all, I help students find their passion. I help people on YouTube find their passion. If I didn't have that for such a long period of time, I wouldn't have the passion to help other people. I wouldn't be able to have a story that inspires other people to know that eventually it'll come. So I would have missed out on all these people that would have never been inspired because they wouldn't have related to me if I didn't have this time of not having it. Everybody's timeline is different, but not only is it different, but it's happening for a reason. There's specific purpose for your life that's different than theirs. And you're wasting your time comparing why you don't have that, but maybe there's something greater that you will have that they won't have. It's just going to come later down in the process. You have to trust that your timeline is all for a reason. I promise you it's for a reason, okay? It may take some time, but if you're always comparing, you're never actually taking advantage of the now. Another thing I made an Instagram video about, y'all follow me on Instagram, Jamar. I make other types of videos on there, but one thing I made on my Instagram, I was saying is, what if when you get to the top of the mountain, what if you get to your dream life and the view isn't as good as you thought it would be? A lot of us we're comparing, we're saying, I gotta get there. But what if when you get to the top of the mountain, the things you had right now before you got to the top of the mountain aren't there anymore? So maybe you get your dream life, but maybe the people that are in your life right now aren't here anymore. They can't even celebrate it with you. Now you realize you'd rather have that. A lot of us, we don't know what our dream life is actually like. When we dream, we only see like half of the dream. There's all these things. What Biggie Small says, more money, more problems. So you may get the money, but then you didn't know you had these problems. Okay, and it's not just money, it's everything. We don't know what's going on in the future. So you have to understand that right now is something to be grateful for. But what I've also realized is when you understand this is true, everybody's timeline is different, and that you learn how to be grateful, and then now that's actually what creates a better future, because now you're at the best version of yourself. When you're positive in the present, you create more positive in the future. When you're negative about now, and you're negative because you don't have this, you're not being productive with the time you have. So being positive, seeing what you have to be grateful for in the now, and trusting your process is what creates the better future. Okay, what's next? Why does my phone keep locking up and not allowing me to see what else I have in my freaking thing? Okay, what do I have next on the next title? Okay, yeah, there's another one. And this kind of relates to my first one. Too much of anything is negative. What do I mean? So when we talk about working hard, when we talk about partying and having fun, either one, if you do too much, is bad, okay? Either one. Can you work too much? Yes. Can you have too much fun? Yes, okay? Well, can you have too much fun? It depends. Like, if you do one thing you're messing it up, okay? What I need you to know is you have to mix everything. You have to mix everything. You have to have time with loved ones. You have to, like, what I've realized is life isn't this, like, you do this and you're successful. It's all these different cups that we have definitions of success. There is not one definition of success in our life. There's all these different definitions of success. And if you only focus on one definition of success, you're actually causing all these other definitions to be failures. So are you successful, or do you just have one success, okay? Our goal is to be successful. So it takes us learning the different things in our life that are important to us. That's different for everybody. But understand, if you party too much and you don't work, you don't learn about yourself, you're losing, okay? But if you only work hard and you don't have fun, I promise you're losing too. So it's super important that we understand too much of anything is bad, okay? Water is good. We all have to drink water, right? But you can die from drinking too much water. I hope YouTube doesn't flag me for saying that word. But like, if you drink too much water, you will literally, you know what I'm saying? Water is good, but if you drink too much of it, that's it. I'm telling you, too much of anything is bad, okay? I love mangoes, but if I eat like 100 mangoes in one sitting, I promise you I'm gonna be sick, okay? It's just the reality. That doesn't mean mangoes are bad for you. All right, another one. Take leaps of faith. This one's super important. A lot of people in this part of their life, they will play it safe. They'll make sure they can be okay. And I've been there. I remember after I graduated college, I had this job, and it was this amazing job. And I was trying it out, and I lived in an amazing city. I lived in our nation's capital in Washington, D.C., if you live in the United States. And I had this cool job, but the reality of it was I had a calling to be an inspirational speaker. And I got this offer, this promotion to make a lot of money and to stay where I was living and do all this cool stuff, but it wasn't what I loved to do. And what I was basically debating was going for what I wanted and risking not losing what I have, which is being okay. You know what I'm saying? And going for what I actually wanted. But what if I don't get it, right? But what I've realized in this is that we have these pockets of time, these doors of opportunities that will only be open for so much. And if we don't go for them, there's this thing that will happen. And we'll have this thing, this question in our head called what if. One thing you want to just push away as much as you can in this chapter of your life, but really your entire life, is never having to ask yourself the question, what if? If something is making you ask yourself, man, what if I did that? Just do it then. Figure out the answer, because if not, you have to deal with this thing that's far worse than failure, and that's regret. If you don't go for it, you will regret your entire life. I remember when I was getting the offer, I actually, I basically like negotiated so I could just stay at the job for one more month while I figured it out. And when I stayed at the job for one more month, I felt like this thing in my stomach for the whole month that I'm pretty sure that's what regret felt like. I was sick to my stomach. I didn't eat anything bad, okay? I didn't eat no spoiled food, but my stomach was literally turning. My body, my soul couldn't deal with it because I could feel my future self living the best life fading away. That is not a fun experience, okay? Here's something I've also realized when you take these leaps of faith. Okay is always there. Okay is always there. You can always go back to okay. You know why? You have this thing called survival instinct. You can always go back and figure it out, okay? You can always go back and make enough money. But going after your dreams, having the opportunity to be the age you are, with the energy you are, with the lack of responsibility you are at this time, go for it. I'm now living my dream life. I wrote a book, by the way, link in my description. I wrote a book on how to find your passion, find success within it. It's the greatest thing I ever did, okay? If you ever want all my knowledge in one little thing, it's my book. It's awesome. Link in the description. I wrote a book. I've spoken in over 35 states. I've been booked over 300 times. Like, I'm living a dream life. I basically only have to work a couple days a month to make an income, and I get to just do what I want and create content. Like, I'm living my dream life. Why? Because I took a leap of faith. Now, was it easy? No. But at least it was the hard meant for me. What I've realized in life is going to be hard no matter what. No matter what you do, life is hard, okay? Life is hard no matter what. But at least when you go after what you want, it's the hard meant for you. It allows you to actually grow. It allows you to actually be willing to be uncomfortable. Dealing with the hard that you don't care about is the worst thing in the world, okay? Life sucks, okay? It does. But at least go through the sucky parts that are actually leading you to where you actually want to go, okay? I promise you. And this is something I also say. Just going after the dream is the dream. Like, it's so fun just going after it. It's better. Like, I'm telling you, living a life you're not meant to live sucks, okay? It eats at you, okay? Time starts to move very slowly, okay? But then in the long term, it starts to just zap by. You feel like you're just wasting your life, I'm telling you. But when you're living and doing the things you love to do, you're going after your dreams, the day-to-day goes by so quick, but the years, like, go by so slow because you're making so many memories. I'm telling you, it's game. It's facts, okay? I hope y'all catch that wisdom. Next one. And I kind of already talked about this. Is always there. Oh, I think I skipped one. Okay, I think I definitely skipped one. Okay, but yeah, okay is always there. I just talked about that. I said take leaps of faith. Oh, I missed one, but I'll put it here. Take time to explore and reflect. And I kind of should have done this one before I got to these two. This one was supposed to be like 5 or something. Yeah. But it's super important this time. Again, we're all lost. We're all trying to figure things out, right? It's super important that you understand the goal isn't to have it figured out. The goal is to learn more about yourself. The more you learn about yourself, the more it's easier to make decisions, okay? So your responsibility isn't just to have fun, isn't just to work hard on whatever you're passionate about, isn't to try to make the best decisions possible, but it's with every single thing you do to explore, okay, and to reflect, okay? One of the things I think is super important that's been missing in our generation is that we're so distracted, we're always doing stuff, that we're never taking the time to actually reflect on our life. If we never reflect, if we never say, hey, how did I feel when I did this? What did I like about this? What didn't I like? Why didn't I like it? Okay? You do those things, you reflect on these things, you're able to set your priorities, you're able to say yes or no to things in the future easier because you've already reflected on prior experiences. It's super important that you take as much time as possible to explore and reflect. Okay, what do we have next? Love this one. Trust, and this is super big in your 20s. Trust your intuition more than your logic. One things we all have is we have logic, okay? Is this possible? Can we do this? What would be the right... We all have logic, okay? But a lot of times it gets in the way of our hearts, okay? The thing about your intuition that differs from your logic is that your intuition understands things that are possible for you in the future. It just won't tell you how it's possible, okay? And so our logic will tell us we can't do that, but our heart knows things that our mind doesn't, okay? It's like connected to a higher power, okay? I promise you, it's worked for me. And a lot of times we allow our logic to get in the way to our intuition. One thing Nipsey Hussle said in this video that made me go after my dreams was that sometimes when you're making decisions that you don't need all the facts. All you need is your gut, your intuition. It knows things that your mind doesn't. When I heard this quote, okay, from Nipsey Hussle, it made me go after my dreams, okay? And what it meant and what he was trying to say is, and what I now know is, a lot of times our intuition, our dreams aren't just about the dreams we can see or feel right now. It's about things that we don't even know about yet. I'm living a life better than my dreams, okay? We have to understand that our dreams are just pulling us towards a direction, but that direction and the distance and the destination is way better than we can dream, but we have to trust that it's out there, okay? We have to be able, if you understood exactly how you're gonna make it happen, it wouldn't be so cool when you make it there, okay? Life is weird, okay? You have to trust your intuition because it's preparing you. It's trying to show you something that you don't even know about yet. There's purpose, there's there's dreams or there's goals you're gonna accomplish that you don't even know about yet. But you have to be willing to take that leap of faith. I need you to know your intuition, your gut is real, okay? Anybody that doesn't believe in their gut is missing out on their potential, because it's within the things that seem impossible to our logic, that don't make sense, that actually change the world. Because everything in this world was once impossible. Everything in this world was once illogical, okay? Flying on a plane, making a YouTube video and posting, like capturing a moment on a camera, that doesn't make sense, okay? We capture moments. All these things logically at a time were impossible, but it's within the things that break logic that actually allow us to grow, that actually move the world forward. So in order for us to move the world forward, we actually have to be illogical. We have to trust our intuition. And it's super important that you do that in your early 20s when you don't have as much responsibility, okay? It's just so much easier to do. It's the reality situation. Now, I'd argue you still want to do that every part of your life, but in your early 20s, you have the opportunity to just go for it, okay? You're still young, okay? Go for it. You're still young at 25, but you know what I'm saying. Next one. Yeah. When you gain new awareness, prioritize accordingly with no what's the word I want to say, with no what's the word I'll say, I'll just keep it there. But basically, you want to be able to prioritize accordingly without feeling bad. Like, a lot of times we realize certain things and we want to like, oh, but this person or this thing, and we want to make sure, we want to stay comfortable. It doesn't matter. If you realize something is more important, just be blunt with it, okay? Once you understand your priorities, making decisions become a lot easier. You become more efficient. So what's super important is that we gain awareness, and we just make the decision. If you understand you don't love something anymore, it's okay if someone gave you this job and they really appreciate you, but you probably need to quit that joint, okay? If it's not funding the dream, okay? If you're just doing it because this is what you thought was your thing, but now you know it's not your thing, then quit, okay? I had a lot of things in college that I was a part of, whether it was like organizations or internships, whatever. And I used to stay in these things a long time because I was there for them, or I thought these people needed me. But what I didn't realize was myself needed myself more to leave so I could then impact more people than I can ever imagine. A lot of us, we think about purpose. We think about, oh, I got to do this because. But what I've realized is being selfish enough to do the thing you love to do, okay? Being selfish enough to make decisions for yourself is actually allowed you to become the best version of yourself, which actually allows you to help more people than you can ever imagine. So what's super important is when you gain new awareness to prioritize accordingly, okay? Prioritize what matters most to you. That's different for everybody. For me, when it comes to these videos, like I didn't post a video last week, okay? This is a priority for me, but you know what happened? Someone in my family was in the hospital. So botch all this. That's just my priorities, okay? It's different for everybody, okay? Now, are these YouTube videos further down on the totem pole? Like if something happens, like there's a parade outside, am I just gonna, like, I have my priority set. There's only certain things that could get me not to post a video every single week, okay? You have to have your awareness to understand what works best for you and what you love to do. What's super important in this time in your life isn't to have it figured out, isn't to know exactly what you want to do, isn't to, even if you know what you love to do, to know how you want to get to your goals. It's to just start building up your process, building up your priorities, and it makes it so much easier to schedule out your day. But it takes you, again, remembering to take time to explore and reflect, try different things. And then when you gain that awareness, prioritize accordingly. And don't really have any hard feelings about it, because this is the key to you helping people you don't even know yet. Okay, a lot of us were thinking about, oh, how's this going to affect people we know? But what if there's a whole globe of people that are waiting for you to just be you and make the decisions accordingly? Okay, next one. Find the process you enjoy, not the result you want. So a lot of us, we're trying to figure out the life we want. We're trying to figure out the things we want. But that's actually not the thing we should be trying to figure out. I think this is probably the biggest step or tip. And I like low-key went into 11. But what I've realized is a lot of us, we're looking for the result. We're looking for the life or the things we think we need or want. But what I realize is that's not what we should be going for, okay? We should be trying to find the process we enjoy regardless of the results. Because here's the game, guys. When you find the process you love, it allows you to be consistent. It allows you to stay consistent for a long period of time, which creates results bigger than you can ever imagine. Okay, when you set a goal, you're saying, I want to reach here, but what if you could have reached here? When you find the process you enjoy, there's no limit on how far you can go. Okay, there's results, there's things, there's goals, there's purpose that you're going to impact and you're going to reach beyond your imagination in the future if you just enjoy the process. But if you only want the result, you're putting a cap on what you can do. There's some things you didn't know you would want. Okay, but you wouldn't know you want it until you get it. Okay, you have to fall in love with something in the process. It's going to reach goals and results beyond your imagination. I can make videos on this YouTube channel for months and months and months. Why? Because I'm not thinking about I got to hit 1,000 or 100,000 subscribers. I want to make this video and have fun for this 30, 40 minutes I'm on this mic, on this camera. Okay, that's what allows me to be consistent. A lot of people say the key to success is being consistent, okay? But it's hard to be consistent when what you're doing isn't who you are. This is who I am, okay? So it's super important. The actions to getting to where you want to go is who you are. It allows you to not only reach that goal, but allows you to reach goals beyond your imagination. I hope you understand that, okay? I want you to know within a passion, within the actions that you love that are who you are is infinite outcomes. When you just want the result, you're capping yourself, okay? There's more to you than you think. There's more results. There's more impact than you think. You just have to be willing to find a thing you love to do, not just the life you want. And a lot of times when we say we want this life, it isn't actually about the life we want. It's about how we want other people to think about us. The key is being happy. The key is finding what we enjoy. All the other stuff happens when we don't actually want it. We just want the process. So the people that want the results usually don't get the results, but the people that don't want the results and just want the process get the results and more. Crazy, but it's true. It's worked for me, okay? Next things I want you to know, and this one's simple. Just stay patient. And this is hard to do if you haven't done this. If you haven't found the process you enjoy, because you need the results, okay? But what's super important, you just stay patient. Just stay patient. Everything happens. What I've realized in life is when it comes to getting goals or reaching these big things, my channel is always about reaching big goals. You can go somewhere else to hit these little bitty goals. I'm about reaching illogical goals. What you have to do is you have to stay patient. And what I've realized is in the grand scheme of things, if you could just have a focus of, I'm going to take one step forward every single day. I'm going to take one step and I'm going to be the best at taking this one step forward. And so for me, that's every day. Okay, what am I doing? I'm going to brush my teeth the best right now. Okay. I'm going to do the dishes the best right now. You focus on one step at a time, okay? I'm going to set up this camera the best right now. I'm going to enjoy setting up the camera. I'm going to enjoy setting up this whiteboard and doing the little video I do before I record it and set up the thumbnail picture. Then I'm going to create the 12 steps and I'm going to make sure I create the best ones to my ability. And then I'm going to go on this walk and enjoy the walk. If you're just staying present and take the one steps every day, you're not trying to do too much. You're just doing one step at a time. What you'll realize is you're actually present in it. So you're doing the best you can and you actually learn how to be better every single day, better than everybody else, because you're actually living in each step, okay? The person that sprints out the gates is going to be ahead of you. There's going to be a lot of people doing the same thing you're doing, and they're going to be miles ahead of you. But what you have to realize is most of them quit, okay? Why? Because they sprinted. They don't have the endurance. This game is about taking one step, getting your jog and getting your pace together, okay? And eventually what ends up happening is you learn to enjoy the jog and your stride becomes bigger because you're learning. The people that are sprinting aren't learning. They're trying to find every single cheat code, every single shortcut, okay? When you take shortcuts, you just cut yourself short, all right? You never make it to the end. But when you're staying patient, when you're just loving the process, when you're taking one step at a time, you're being present, you're making sure you're still having fun, so you're inspired, you're making sure that you're enjoying or trying to find something you love to do, you're learning what you actually love, you're learning what's your priorities. Day by day, things will get clearer, okay? It's not gonna happen in 1 day, in 2 days, in 1 week, but it's gonna happen in time. But no matter how long it takes, when you're doing it the right way, you're finding the process you love and you're being patient, you're being grateful in the now, you're actually enjoying the process. And that's what your early 20s is all about, enjoying the process. Don't miss this, okay? Have fun. Do the things you love to do. Learn about yourself. Have fun being lost, okay? Because if you don't, you'll be searching for something you'll never really find. Because the reality is you're not finding anything because it was always right there, okay? Just be surprised, okay? I hope y'all catching the game. What I'm trying to say. It's hard to really understand, but all I'm trying to say is enjoy being lost and live in the moment. Everything else will take care of itself. You can really just not watch this entire video and take that advice. Live in the moment. Follow your heart. Don't take things too seriously, okay? That's the key. And just be surprised. We're all lost. You'll never have it figured out. But that's what makes life fun, okay? Last thing. Be willing to pivot. Okay, again, when I said we're all lost, we're all figuring things out. So when you figure things out to a degree or you learn things you love to do, it's okay to change. It's okay to pivot. We have different chapters in our life, okay? What I want you to know is you're never wasting time. Everything's a lesson. Everything's a memory. Everything is having a purpose. And if you realize at a certain age, at 24, you worked this job since you were 20 and you loved it, but now you don't love it anymore, it's okay. You didn't waste 20 to 24. You gained all these transferable skills that you don't know they're actually going to help you for something when you're 60 years old. I worked in the sports industry from 18 to 23, okay? And I'm 25 now. And we're really more 18 to 22-ish. Did all these things, and someone say, man, you quit that to go and be an inspirational speaker. You just wasted those years. But no, I learned how to network. I learned how to speak up for myself. I learned how to write professionally and sell myself. I learned all these things. I met all these people that I didn't know what, you know what I'm saying? I learned all these things. Pivoting is never bad unless you look at it in the wrong way, okay? Everything that's put in your heart was put there for a reason. You have to have a little bit of blind trust. It's called faith, because it allows you to actually reach the life you're meant for. You just won't know about it in the present moment, but enjoy going after the dream, enjoy going after the goals, enjoy going about the life and finding life that you don't even know you're going after yet. And just live in the moment. I promise you, all this works, but you have to be patient. You have to follow your heart. You have to understand there is no one side of the coin. It isn't working hard and focusing on your career. There is no just having fun and going to parties. Do all of it. Find your balance. For some people, it's a little bit more here, a little bit more here. But the timeline, everything is on our own timeline. Have fun. Do the thing you love to do, okay? Understand you're unique. There is no one answer. There is no right amount of fun or whatever. Fun is whatever you deem it to be, okay? But life is so much more than just having a career and making money, okay? Because the real success isn't that stuff. It's whatever you deem it to be. Therefore, success is just whatever makes you happy. And if something doesn't make you happy, then prioritize accordingly and get that out of the way. If people don't love you for who you truly are, that's not your problem, that's their problem. And I promise you, when you leave people, when you leave things that aren't meant for you, it gives you the space to find the things, to attract the things you're actually meant for. If you enjoy stuff like this, if you want to learn more how to become the best version of yourself, to create the life you're meant for, to turn your passion into a business, to find your passion in the first place, buy my book in the description, subscribe. I got more videos here. I enjoyed this time. I really don't know how to end this video. I'm kind of awkward at the end, but y'all have a good yeah, bye.